Hi, Ariel here with an owliceland.com and Give a Hoot About Nature with Ariel. I wanted to do a gear review today of my favorite pieces of gear that I use to stay warm with winter photography. My Heat 3 Pro gloves by the Heat Company. Before I get started, if you can go ahead and hit subscribe, I'll be sharing more tutorials in the next few weeks about winter photography, how to stay warm, some tutorials on wildlife photography as well as landscape photography, and you will be the first ones to see a sneak peek of my dream project, which is a mini documentary series when I head back to Iceland this spring to film the migratory bird season, Atlantic puffins, and the Arctic foxes. So a little background of who I am. First, I have been taking pictures since I was very, very little. For many years, I've been recreating in the outdoors in all sorts of conditions. Snowshoeing like I'm doing today, cross-country skiing, snowboarding. I have hiked some high peaks in New Hampshire in the winter. But I also have Raynaud's phenomenon. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it essentially means that in the cold I have really poor circulation in my extremities, which usually means that my feet and my hands get very cold very quickly. It can become very painful and just downright debilitating. And once my hands or feet get cold, it is usually game over. Now, coming over from a hiking background into doing outdoor photography, there was some changes that I needed to make regarding gear. The biggest thing being the gloves, because with photography, as you know, you need a lot more dexterity in your fingers to use your equipment, to press the buttons, to use the touch screen. So it took some time to figure out exactly what was going to work for me. I especially have very, very small hands. So a lot of gloves that I've tried in the past and gloves that were recommended to me, unfortunately didn't work because they were just too big for my little hands. What's really nice about the Heat Company is they have a wide variety of sizes. I actually have a size 6, which is the smallest sizes that they offer, and they fit my hands so perfectly, which is so crucial to maintain that dexterity that you need. So last year, I booked a trip to photograph Arctic foxes on Hundstrander Nature Reserve in Iceland's Westfjord region, and this was going to be during the winter. So I knew before arriving I had to have my gear dialed in, because there is nothing worse than being out there in the cold and your hands start to hurt, you can't feel the camera, and you just have to bail. And like, I was so tired of that happening to me, and I knew I needed to find a glove that was going to work. So I did a lot of research, I asked around, and I went with these gloves, the Heat Pro 3 from the Heat Company. What I love about them is a couple things. Like, you can tell by the design of this glove that they really thought about what outdoor enthusiasts and photographers need. Because first, starting with this lovely wrist leash here, I love this because I can't tell you how many times I have lost a mitten or a glove out here, or I'm hiking and I find someone's poor glove just lonely by itself on the trail. So I like that this keeps the glove and the mitten secure on my person in case for some reason I have to take it off. The other thing is that the liner with this particular model is built into the glove. So for some people, they may not like this. I like this because I also have a tendency to lose a liner, especially because a lot of liners are black. So you know how it is. You have a black bag, you have a black interior in your car, a lot of black stuff, and you lose your black liner possibly because it just disappears into this abyss where our gear goes when we lose it. So I like that the liner, if you could see, I'm going to get a little bit closer here and just kind of pull it out. It also has, what I especially love is this little pocket. So you can unzip the pocket and then the liner is inside. So I'm going to demonstrate how to use the glove. So you put the wrist leash on and then hand goes in. And then as you can see here, what's really cool is that little pocket, you can unzip or zip to use your fingers. And they have the touchscreen friendly index finger here. It actually works. There has been some liners I buy that say touchscreen friendly, and I'm touching and tapping and nothing's happening. With these, it really does work. So the bottom is made out of goat skin, which is very warm and cozy. And they do also include a special balm in with the purchase of the gloves to take care of this part. The outside is neoprene, it is water resistant. Honestly, I think it's great as water resistant, but I think they are very much waterproof. I have worn these in some crazy intense storms and still doing photography in this, and my hands never get wet and they stay very toasty with the mitten option. It also comes with these little leashes, so you can this little clip here, so you can attach it together and attach it to your bag when you're not using them, so you can keep all your gear together. I also love the color options. So again, I'm not a big fan of black. Is one of my favorite colors, but really not for wildlife photography especially. I like to keep tones neutral, camo, greens, things that sort of blend into the landscape. So I went with this lighter color for two reasons. One, they're easier to find in all my gear, and they also blend in with the landscape when I'm out here. So love these gloves. They held up really great during the storm last year on Hunstrander Nature Reserve. You can read more about this. Oh, the last thing I want to mention too here, I almost forgot. This little pocket on the outside, you can unzip and put little hand warmers in here, which I end up using a lot in really cold weather. I put hand warmers in here, and this way your fingertips stay nice and cozy. They also do offer options where you can buy a glove and liner separate if you prefer that. I like it when it's integrated as one system because it's just a lot easier for me when I'm packing my gear and I'm out here. I don't have to worry about taking the mitten off, putting the liner back on, taking the mitten on. Less things I can think about when I'm out here and focus on my photography and the experience, the better. So back to my experience on Hunstrander Nature Reserve. We really endured some crazy conditions there. The gloves held up, they passed the test. They've been my best friend this winter. If you want to read more about my life-changing experience that I had while photographing Arctic wildlife in Iceland, you can head to my blog and alaniceland.com. Check out the blog section where there are other photography tips and hopefully some inspiration for you there. And you will find the article there about my experience photographing Arctic foxes. And thank you so much for watching.